guys, welcome to another episode of Joe Knows. Today I am going to discuss one of the most common questions and training topics I've gotten in the last 20 years. It also happens to be one of my favorite training topics, and that is increasing your vertical jump. And this is something I've been doing since 1999 when I first started training college football players for the NFL Combine. And I've done it every year since, so I feel like I have a lot of good stuff to share on this topic. And today, what I'm going to share with you is 2 tricks that you could do to improve your vertical jump right now. And that's not a gimmick, it's not a scam. Like, literally, do what I tell you and you will jump higher instantly. And this isn't meant to replace proper programming. You still need to know how to program properly. You still want to implement the proper exercises into your training. And for that, I'm going to share a link with you guys. There'll be a description in this video to our Power DVD. That's where we have over 90 exercises, 90 of our favorite exercises for improving your jumping ability and your explosive power. We also have some sample workouts in there. I highly recommend that resource for more in-depth information. But the purpose of this video, what I'm going to do for you guys is give you 2 tricks that will help you jump higher right now. All right, so let me share those 2 tricks. Number 1, and anybody who knows anything about me, if you've ever trained with me, you know this trick. I wrote about it in a T-Nation article years ago. I've just never shared it on YouTube, so I'm going to share it today. And that is to static stretch your hip flexors right before you jump. Now, why would you do that? It sounds counterintuitive. You've been told don't ever static stretch before doing any kind of explosive activity. Here's the deal. Most of us have really tight hip flexors, right? We have that anterior pelvic tilt. Your hip flexors have your psoas, in more specifically, attaches to your spine, and it has a downward pull on the spine when you're tight. So when you go to jump and you need to fully extend rapidly, if you have real tight hip flexors, basically they're going to pull you down. And it's especially important if you're going to test your vertical jump on one of those Vertec devices where you have to reach up and hit the little plastic sticks. There's no way you're going to be able to fully extend and reach as high as you can if you have really tight hip flexors, because they're going to be all tight, bound up. They create a lot of friction and they pull you down and prevent you from fully extending. So we want to lengthen the hip flexors, and it's okay. We're going to static stretch them because we want them to quote unquote shut off, or we want them to go to sleep because they're not a prime mover. You know, our glutes, our hamstrings, our quads, those are the prime movers in jumping. So we don't want to shut those off. We want those to be warmed up properly, but we want our nervous system jacked up and excited before the jump. But the actual, specifically the hip flexors, shut them off.
You shut that thing down, and we are not going to be held responsible for whatever happens. No, we won't be.
Shut it off.
Put them to sleep while we lengthen them. So what's the best way to do that? Static stretch them. So all you have to do is pick your favorite static stretch. I like to do a kneeling static stretch. Make sure you get your pelvis, get your lumbar spine in the right position. I like to reach overhead, maybe tilt a little bit laterally. Hold for about 15 to 30 seconds. Get a really, really good stretch. Do each side and then jump. If you want, I even recommend jumping. Do your normal warm-up. Jump once or twice. See how high you can jump. Then do the hip flexor stretch. And then jump again, retest, and see how much you got out of it. The tighter your hip flexors are, the more you will get out of that stretch. All right, so that's trick number 1. The second trick, well, it isn't so much of a trick, it's more of a technical suggestion. And there is a lot of technique involved in the vertical jump, by the way. I'm just going to mention this one technical aspect because it is very easy to correct. So I don't mind giving this advice on a public forum to the masses because it's very easy to implement. And what I'm referring to is just focus on lowering yourself faster into the jump. Pay more attention to the descent of the jump. Way too many people only focus on the jump aspect of the jump, and you'll see them kind of lower themselves slow and then explode up into the jump. And they might get away with that, but if you really want to set yourself up for the highest potential jump, you want to lower yourself as fast as possible. All right, I even coach my athletes to be fully extended so they could use their arms to throw their arms down into a quarter squat position as fast as they can so they can potentially raise up faster and higher. Remember, Newton's third law: for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And I'm looking for a ball. Here we go. Looking for a ball to give you guys a visual. If I just drop this ball, it bounces so high. It kind of matches the speed at which I dropped it. Now, if I add a little speed and I throw this ball down to the ground, it's going to raise up much faster. And now you will always remember that visual of the ball almost coming up and hitting me in the face. You want that to be you during the descent of your jump. You want to throw yourself down with as much speed as possible so you could potentially rise up and jump with as much speed and height as possible. And just a quick note, this will work. I've seen it work for everybody. It'll work more for some compared to others. Let me just explain and I'll end the video here. If you are more of a strength athlete, if your strength is one of your strengths, in other words, you're more of a force dominant athlete, you will still get something out of this, but maybe not as much. For example, I have Brian Cushing's one of my longtime clients, Houston Texans linebacker, all-time leading tackler, first-round draft pick, stud. He could jump almost as high from a seated position as he can when we add a counter movement. He's more of a force dominant athlete. Now, force times velocity is what equals power, right? Or strength times speed equals power. If you're more of a velocity dominant athlete, if you're more elastic, reactive type of athlete, you're faster than you are strong, you will get even more out of the rapid descent because you're utilizing that stretch shortening cycle much better than the strength guy. All right, so know kind of where you classify as an athlete. Are you more force dominant? Are you more velocity dominant? The velocity guys are going to get a little more out of that second tip, but everyone can still benefit from it, all right? And certainly everyone can benefit from the hip flexor stretch because most people are super tight from sitting all day, being on their phone all day or their computer, etc. So give those two things a try. Let me know how they work for you. They have worked for virtually every single athlete I have ever coached. So I'm looking forward to hearing how they work for you guys. And that is all I got for today. If you like this video, appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. I got more videos coming each week. But that is all I got for today, and I'll see you guys next time.